All right, all right. Testing, 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 testing. All right, all right. Great. All right, we are live, guys. As you hop in, note that this is a rapid fire Q&A. So I'm going to answer your question and we're going to keep it brief. So let's get some questions going, but I'm going to start with looking at some of the questions inquired on my YouTube channel. Let's go. Somebody asked, okay, why L-tyrosine and not N-acetyl L-tyrosine? Very popular question. So L-tyrosine, the reason that I recommend it versus the N-acetyl L-tyrosine is because not only does it actually work, like you'll notice something happening as far as boost of focus, boost of energy, boost of motivation, but also the fact that it lasts longer. So with N-acetyl L-tyrosine, I think it's just a trendy version of L-tyrosine. People always want the new supplement, but what's so is it may hit you faster than L-tyrosine, but it lasts for a lot shorter of a period. So I noticed like with L-tyrosine, typically I'll find it working for 90 minutes, sometimes 2 hours. With N-acetyl-tyrosine, maybe it'll work for 45 minutes, if that. So it's interesting because you can actually consider combining them. Now, L-tyrosine or tyrosine in general is often used for pre-workout supplementation. So something you can consider doing is using N-acetyl L-tyrosine with L-tyrosine, because the N-acetyl L-tyrosine is going to hit you fast, and then the L-tyrosine is going to keep you going. But combining that with caffeine is going to provide you with a really good energy boost. And so if you're not taking caffeine, I think it's still effective. But if you're taking it with caffeine, it's going to be super effective. But N-acetyl L-tyrosine is just more expensive. A common serving size with N-acetyl L-tyrosine is going to be 350 milligrams. I don't take it anymore, the N-acetyl L-tyrosine. It's one of those supplements, excuse me. I'll take it if I have it in stock. If I don't have it in stock, I'm not bothered. But L-tyrosine, I'm actually taking it once before my workout. And then if I have a very long workout, then I'll take L-tyrosine once actually in the middle of the workout to help me really just maintain more energy. The other nice way in which you can use both tyrosines is, let's say if you're fasted, let's say it's the end of the day, let's say you're tired, you can always count on it for a boost of motivation, a boost of focus and drive, while not keeping you up, kind of like caffeine would. So I find with caffeine, I get more physical energy. I also don't really feel like myself. It comes with a little bit of anxiety. But with L-tyrosine, what so is you get that drive, you get that motivation, because what happens is like L-tyrosine, it almost directly boosts the really important neurotransmitter for motivation, being dopamine. So you want to take supplement or you want to take a dopamine supplement, it's going to be L-tyrosine, and that's why it's so popular and it's so effective. Cool, cool, cool. What's up, guys? Who else is up in here? Don't mind dropping a like on this. What do you think about Agmatine Sulfate combined with Rhodiola Rosea for social anxiety and nervousness? I don't see that as an effective stack whatsoever, because, okay, let's look at Agmatine Sulfate. First, I don't think it does much for social anxiety and nervousness. If I notice anything with Agmatine Sulfate, perhaps like a little bit more energy and maybe a slight boost of focus, perhaps it can reduce overthinking just a little bit, but nothing that effective. And with Rhodiola Rosea, that one's primarily going to be used for fighting off fatigue. So like I mentioned with Rhodiola Rosea, I may use it in the middle of the day because it would help me to have some clear-mindedness. Kind of feels like a nap, or feels like having a meditation session. I meditated 3 times today. Once in the morning for 10 minutes, again for 10 minutes, and then again for 5 minutes. And you get this level of clear-mindedness, which is kind of achievable with Rhodiola Rosea. It also does it also does suppress your appetite, which is cool. But social anxiety and nervousness, no, not really. It's just like an energy booster, but it won't like make you feel like you're rewiring your brain, if that makes sense. What good supplements are out there for social anxiety and nervousness would be Racetams, would be lion's mane mushroom. Some individuals like taking L-theanine. I think it's too calming for most people. And also, if you take it in a fasted state, it can often fatigue you and make you feel a bit lethargic. So with L-theanine, it's pretty damn inconsistent. I like that Rhodiola Rosea, and I mean, given now I've been using nootropics for so long, I really appreciate the nootropics that have like a predictable feeling. Whereas there's so many of them that are like super inconsistent. You'll feel them some days you won't feel them. Sometimes it just depends on all kinds of factors, maybe diet, maybe hydration, maybe if you're taking it in a fasted state or not. Social anxiety and nervousness. Oh my gosh. Yeah, cool. L-dopa you can consume in the form mecunopurians. Exactly. I think it's overhyped, overrated. You're going to be better off taking L-tyrosine. So mecunopurians, a lot of people take it and they say it can be responsible for boosting motivation levels throughout the whole course of the day. Not so effective from my experience, and also from reading a lot of course, like your guys' comments. But L-tyrosine, the good thing is that it hits you, you get the boost of drive. The bad thing is it doesn't last very long. So mecunopurians, ideally, it was thought to be a supplement that you could just take once during the day and get that boost of motivation throughout the whole course of the day, but it doesn't really happen. So it hasn't been my experience, but I know it's in a lot of nootropic blends out there. Let me know if anyone thinks otherwise. I've yet to see anyone say like, L-dopa is a magical supplement for me. I absolutely love this stuff. Doesn't really happen. Besides L-theanine, what do you recommend? Man, we were trying to talk about focus, but now we're talking about anxiety. Oh my gosh. Okay, cool. But besides L-theanine, but all questions are appreciated. Let's go. What do you recommend that would complement Rhodiola Rosea for anxiety and nervousness? I will share two with you, which you've probably heard me talk about before. The first one being Bacopa. Love Bacopa. Love it. It's herbal. It's an adaptogen. There's a lot of science behind it, showing that it can help you with all things anxiety, stress, different forms of stress, but also improving your memory. So when you want to talk about a nootropic that's going to help you with productivity and also help you with anxiousness, it's going to be Bacopa minerea, and it's a naturally occurring herbal supplement. In India, they've actually been using it for centuries. So I'm pretty comfortable taking Bacopa. I've been using it for years now. It helps you to achieve a similar level of clear-mindedness as Rhodiola Rosea, maybe not so strong that way. I think it's more, I would look at Rhodiola Rosea more of like an energy booster, whereas Bacopa minerea I would look at as not as much of an energy booster, but very calming. For some people, it's just too calming, kind of like L-theanine. So some of the downsides with Bacopa minerea would be that, like demotivation, that's a common one. And also loss of libido, surprisingly, like a slight drop in sex drive, that's kind of common. The other supplement I mentioned, what else? I don't know if we talked about lion's mane here, but lion's mane, I think that's probably one of my personal favorites when it comes to anxiety and nervousness, because immediately, or when, I'm pretty sensitive to nootropics, fortunately. When I started taking lion's mane, like my baseline mood was just up. I was feeling better. I was more positive. I was already working a lot, and I was in that momentum of taking action. And I found that with lion's mane, I suddenly became like a little bit less attached to the outcome. And I wasn't so tunnel vision and like focusing on the next sale. I can actually connect with people. I can have deeper relationships. I can kind of see the big picture more. So it's pretty interesting the way like lion's mane really just restructured everything. It like makes you more curious, because I genuinely feel like I started taking lion's mane in 2015. I genuinely feel it's put me in a different place now, as opposed to if I didn't take the supplement. Good or bad, we will never know. But I'm going to continue taking it because I like how it feels. And the other one that's worth mentioning, of course, is ashwagandha. I mean, these days, ashwagandha just gets a lot of hate because it's one of the worst supplements when it comes to demotivation and side effects that aren't reported. Like, meaning that people take it and then realize afterwards, like, wow, these side effects are so bad. And that happens a lot with ashwagandha. So the best thing you can do is just watch the videos. I've talked about ashwagandha a lot because there's different forms with it. And it's, for me, I get a little bit demotivated when I take ashwagandha, but the good thing is you can kind of offset that with taking some caffeine or taking some Noopept, and that's going to boost motivation, so it's going to be okay. But I would say the most like researched, reliable, somewhat safe supplement out there for anxiety, nervousness, stress is going to be ashwagandha. Like the science is incredible, really. Cool. I just joined in. Did you study, do your own? No, I think that's what makes me unique. I started taking nootropics actually when, so the question is how did you like learn about nootropics and what was your journey? Did you study? I would say to some extent I studied, but I would say 30% of it would be research and learning from anecdotes, and 70% would be kind of from my own experience, which I think that's why people appreciate this channel. It's like, I don't talk about nootropics that don't work. I'm very easy and open to say this thing didn't work or this thing was a waste of money, but there's been a lot of nootropics that have made a big difference for me. And I think I'm kind of fortunate to know or have some sort of guess as far as what's working, what's not working. But countless comments have said, like, Michael, I tried this supplement and it felt exactly how you described it to feel. Lion's mane, for instance, like that's one. Most people may not notice it as quickly as I did. For a lot of people, they would take them 7 to 10 days to start notice something from it. But I noticed like kind of some acute benefit. And with Rhodiola Rosea, for example, like I feel that one instantly, whereas most people, they don't. They actually have to take it for a considerable amount of time. But now, guys, we have a lot of data out there. There's YouTube, there's Reddit. You can look up people's experiences. When it comes to testosterone, there's a lot of studies out there too, where people have used some of the popular supplements like Tonkat Ali, Fidoji Aggressive, stuff like that. So the best thing you can do is like, don't be like super cautious. A lot of people have been asking like, can I take this supplement along with this? In most cases, you're going to be okay. Like these are safe nootropics. We talk about, I mean, I don't talk about meds that much, maybe like 20% of my videos. Hope that's helpful. Long answer. Do you use Cognance? I have it in a shelf and it's open and I use it spontaneously because it's a small bottle that I think I want to save a little bit for vacations. But the few times I have taken it, I mean, it did what I expected it to do. It felt like Bacopa. I didn't notice anything different, but I'm yet to really give it like a good 90-day cycle and try it out and really and really see if it feels any different. But my expectation is that it'll be kind of similar to Bacopa, maybe slightly more stimulating based on some of the research. Cool. Which Bacopa from Nootropics Depot? So the two which I go back and forth with are the Synapsa. So you'll see it there, Synapsa and the Bacognance, and I will share it. They make no difference whatsoever. Yeah, like I use it from Nootropics Depot. I actually have to make an order. Thanks for reminding me. If there's anything you guys want me to review, this is the best time to tell me, or on my Discord. I'm going to be making an order, but the Synapsa or the Bacognance makes no difference whatsoever. I've used Bacopa from all kinds of websites. It's never made a difference. It's always felt the same, but that's me. I'm sure there's people that would disagree and say that like the Synapsa is better than the Bacognance, but I think, yeah, you can't go wrong with choosing one or the other with those. Do they actually have 3 to 4 different kinds? I had no idea about that with Bacopa. That's interesting. That is interesting. 1 sec. Let me just make sure my audio is good. Yeah, my audio is good. Is my audio good? Wait, hold on. Yeah, we're good. They have 3 to 4 different kinds. Okay, memory. What about PRL 853? Kind of overrated, but what's been your experience with that one? Because it's been my experience that I took it. I expected really good things from it. I didn't notice much. And then with it, I went back to Bacopa. So I look at PRL 853, like kind of overpriced. All right, Lion's Mane and Bacopa, is it a bad combo for men? For libido and fertility? Like you'll never really know unless you try it. So try it, because with Lion's Mane and Bacopa, I didn't notice anything with libido. As a matter of fact, I think like there's yet to be a nootropic supplement which has boosted, which has decreased my personal libido, and I don't have like the highest libido in the world. So be mindful of that. Like I know people do talk about it. I also don't think there's a way that you can offset it. You can consider taking it along with like a natural testosterone booster, for example, but I don't personally see the point of doing that. I think that you should pretty much be okay. But yeah, Lion's Mane, Bacopa. There was one other one that was talked about for potentially reducing testosterone levels and libido, but I don't think there's any science on that anyway. So we should be okay. We should be okay. Cool. Thoughts on, yeah, you got to tell me more about the product because very few people have asked about that one, so I don't know. Cool. Hey, how would you recommend NSI 189 and N9MEBC? NSI 189, the forgotten nootropic supplement, came in about between 2014 and 2015. It was especially popular. Guys, what if there was a nootropic out there that could actually reverse any damage made to your brain from you experiencing a depression? So you go through a depressive episode, it actually damages your brain. NSI 189 is supposed to, or thought to, reverse that phenomenon and kind of restore your brain. Or that sounds pretty crazy. But I did take NSI 189, and the way that you take the supplement, it's not like your traditional supplement which you take every day. No. You actually take like a proper cycle. I can't remember the dosage now, but it's like a very small amount, and you take it for 20 days, and then after 20 days, you don't take it anymore. So the first time I did it, it was very positive. It worked. I felt, how did I feel? I kind of felt like I was more able to implement new habits into my life. It was like and I wasn't often having like the same thought patterns that I typically would, which is cool because you can kind of like retrain your brain. And it really, I would say after I did my first cycle, I saw really good results like the 3 to 4 months after that. And then I tried taking another cycle again. It didn't do anything. So with this one, it's a very interesting nootropic. I wouldn't shy away from it. Maybe I would try it again someday. But it's not a supplement you would just take once. You take it in that actual cycle, and it's pretty cool. 9-MEBC is thought to improve levels of motivation, drive, tastes really bad. I've tried it for a couple weeks. I didn't personally notice. I think I didn't notice anything from it. But yeah, I would curious to know if anyone else has any good feedback with that one. With NSI 189, I thought it was really promising, but for some reason it just kind of didn't make it. Now, very few people know about it. It's one of those nootropics, like, let's say you went through something really bad. You're trying to get back to work, and you've tried everything. Nothing's working. I'm gonna try this supplement. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try that diet. It doesn't hurt to try NSI 189, though it is kind of expensive. If you could only take 3 Racetams, man, people don't like when I talk about Racetams anymore. Like, Mike, you don't tell us where to get it, so why are you talking about it? But I will, because I like the Racetams. If you could only take 3 Racetams, which one would they be, specifically for social interaction and verbal fluidity? They would be Piracetam, Aniracetam, and Oxiracetam. Maybe instead of Oxiracetam, it would be Piracetam, but Piracetam being the best one, it's also the most subtle. So with Piracetam, it's going to enhance learning. It's going to enhance energy, motivation, make you a bit more intentional about work. I noticed it was improving my memory because when I stopped taking Piracetam, what happened was my memory just wasn't as good. I was using it in actually my final year at University of Toronto studying business. And yeah, for sure it was helping, no questions asked. Now, Aniracetam, that one is more popular around social anxiety, social isolation, verbal fluency. But it's, yeah, I think of the Racetams, it's probably the most effective when it comes to anxiety. I noticed when I stopped taking Aniracetam, I suddenly I feel a little bit more worried or a bit more concerned or asking myself, like, what can go wrong versus what can go right. Keep that in mind. That's like self-talk, right? So Aniracetam, good that way. Oxiracetam, I look at as the most, kind of like the stimulating one. Subtle, but at the same time, you take it and you get that boost of alertness. So I really enjoy that, though it is a bit expensive. And when combined with Piracetam, all the Racetams work better. So the way that I was typically taking the Racetams, I don't take Piracetam anymore. But Piracetam, Oxiracetam, Aniracetam, and Piracetam, that was my stack. That's like the 4 gold Racetams. But with Piracetam, it's like, it tastes really bad. I haven't been able to find a way to get it in capsule form, and I don't have my capsule machine to make the capsule. So that's the only reason why I haven't taken it. But so in case anyone's wondering, Piracetam is really good when it comes to discipline, like repetitive work. You're just able to endure the boredom a lot more than you typically would have. That's how you know it's working. Super cool. I got introduced to the Racetams before, I think before most nootropics out there, and then I started adding adaptogens and stuff after that. So it's like you use all these Racetams to really help you with focus, motivation, work ethic, help you make money, help you get better grades. There's better results objectively because you become very like tunnel vision focused in a good way. And sometimes it's okay in life to neglect other areas of your life. Like people talk about having balance. Like balance doesn't have to just mean during the day. You can be balanced by focusing on something for 1 year and focusing on something else another year. And then you can often just get a lot more done. So that's, I use the Racetams first. And then after my business was kind of in momentum, then I used some adaptogens, used some things to help me decrease levels of stress. And I think things worked out. Cool. Once you found your favorite supplements, would you rather take a blend of those over individual products cost-wise? I'm surprised. People would be surprised to know that when you look at the actual cost of a lot of supplement blends versus getting them individually, there's not much of a difference, which surprised me. I mean, of course, depending on the supplement blend, but I mean, yeah, for sure, I would prefer, like cost-wise, I don't know if it would make a difference. It all comes down to how much of a difference it is, right? But of course, for the sake of convenience, I'd much rather have everything in a bunch of capsules. What about CBD or THC? I personally don't like how it makes me feel. I know some people really like it. Perhaps if for anxiety, nothing else works for you, then there's nothing wrong with trying it. But for me anyway, it helps with anxiety, but at the same time, I don't feel like myself. And I want to still feel like myself, right? Is Phenylpiracetam with Kratom okay? Wow. I think it's okay. Would people advise it? Probably not. With Phenylpiracetam and Kratom, the downsides are it's highly addictive, and they are both highly addictive for anxiety, but you may experience withdrawals afterwards. More so with Phenylpiracetam, I'm not so sure about Kratom, but Phenylpiracetam, what I like about it is like you get this mood uplift. It feels very different than any other supplement, and it's also at the same time slightly energizing. So it's a very interesting supplement. I can see why why there's addiction potential and why so many people can't get off of it, because I mean, you want to feel like you've kind of drank alcohol. It's kind of like how you feel with Phenylpiracetam. So you may want to not consider taking don't take a dose of over 500 milligrams and drive there afterwards, because like you feel a bit wobbly. And with Kratom, I really can't say. Like I've tried Kratom on and off. I don't notice anything from it, but that could just be me. I know other people really like Kratom for anxiety, but then they have the same issues with it afterwards that they can't get off Kratom. So guys, what are your experiences with Kratom? I'm super curious. All right, do you take breaks on Piracetam on your weekends or downtime, or do you keep it in your system? Great question. So with Piracetam, yeah, that's the kind of like the trouble with it, in that you need to be taking it consistently day after day along with the choline source for it often to start working. So after a couple weeks, you should notice something happening. The way that I would take Piracetam is taking 800 milligrams twice a day. And with each serving, you'd be taking 150 milligrams of choline. I prefer alpha GPC. Again, that's 800 milligrams with 800 milligrams Piracetam, 150 milligrams of alpha GPC, and doing that twice a day. You do that for a week, you should notice something. If not 2 weeks, you should notice something. Better memory. Very subtle though. It's not energizing. It's more like, you will wake up feeling all Piracetam up. So that's the thing of, and when you would want to take downtime, something like taking weekends off, that wouldn't work, because with Piracetam, you got to be taking it every single day. So I would much rather take and recommend something like somebody goes 2 months, or probably 2 months might even be short. 10 weeks on, followed by 2 weeks off, and then repeat. Or if you're more, or if that's too much time on and that scares you, then taking 2 months on, followed by 1 month off, and repeat. With Piracetam, you will likely get headaches and worse anxiety and a worse mood if you don't take it with a choline supplement. Choline, it's a nutrient that's found in egg yolks, but if you cook the egg yolk, you actually lose 2/3 of the choline content. So alpha GPC is just going to be better. Alpha GPC, like it a lot. I've talked about it a lot on some of the videos. It's like the most bioavailable form of choline that you can consume. So some other popular forms of choline would be CDP choline and also choline bitartrate. So that's what I'm typically doing. And yeah, like I'm mentioning, like I knew Piracetam was working because once I stopped using it, that's it. Like my memory was nowhere as good, and also verbal fluency, not only with Piracetam, but with alpha GPC as well. I wasn't like as quick on my feet, if that makes sense. Is ashwagandha best in morning or evening? It depends. I think for people that really are trying to avoid that demotivated feeling you get with ashwagandha, you're going to be better off taking it in the evening. Also, it's going to help and aid you with sleep quality. But for the rest of the people that just aren't concerned, they're trying to get the most of the benefit from ashwagandha, they're better off taking it in the morning. It has a very long half-life. So actually, people don't know this. Surprisingly, the ideal way of taking ashwagandha is like splitting it 12 hours apart, like 8 a.m. and then 8 p.m. And you'll instead of noticing it working in like 7 days, you'll probably feel it in like three to 4 days. That's the ideal way, probably not the practical way. The way in the past that I've used ashwagandha was like 12 o'clock and then 12 o'clock p.m. and then 6 o'clock p.m. But now I'm taking it probably like 4 o'clock p.m. and then I'm taking the form called Shodan once before I sleep. That's a very potent form of ashwagandha that's specifically for sleep. It's on Nootropics Depot. All right, cool. What would you recommend for social anxiety for bipolar individuals? Nothing really changes, because a lot of the nootropics that we talk about here, they're herbal, they're naturally occurring, they're not stimulants. But what you should be kind of concerned about taking are things like yohimbine, things like ephedrine. I think most stimulants, just think twice about them. But as far as like caffeine consumption, that's going to be okay. Really, with bipolar individuals, what matters more so is sleep. Once your sleep is not in check, everything goes wrong. And sugar consumption. Eat carbohydrates, eat fat during your meals, just so you can slow the digestion process, and you're going to be okay. Nice. So is that diamond. I'm usually sleep deprived. Ouch. I'm taking 50. I'm taking 50 milligrams of modafinil 5 times a week. It helps with motivation and mood, but working memory, not much. Very, very true. I'm noticing with modafinil, like my short-term memory is way off. If I try to remember, like call somebody back and do something else, I've forgotten about calling the person back. So watch out for that with modafinil. You got to write stuff down. You get Post-it notes everywhere. I'm taking SSRI, but so not sure if Bacopa is appropriate, or what can you recommend? Taking Bacopa along with that stack is absolutely fine. I use modafinil with Rhodiola Rosea, with ashwagandha, with Bacopa, also with the Racetams. Like I mentioned in that other scenario, where you should be concerned is when you're adding other stimulants on top of that. The only time you would, 50 milligrams, that's good because it's a pretty low dose. 100 milligrams is actually more common when it comes to something like Moda. But the only time, for example, like I would combine it with caffeine is going to be pre-workout. And even then, I wouldn't work out too strenuously because modafinil raises your heart rate. For me, like my heart rate is usually around 50 beats per minute, something like that. But when I'm on modafinil, it's the whole day, it's at 60. There's no way to reduce there's nothing you can do. So be mindful of that and just watch out for anything that would increase your heart rate, because lower heart rate is going to be healthier. There's actually science showing, fun fact, that lower heart rate means increased willpower. So next time your heart rate is high, just notice you should calm down. Calm down. Let's go. How do you feel about DMHA and caffeine? DMHA, I don't know much about, or I can't remember. With caffeine, I like it, specifically pre-workout. I think with people, they should be aware that it offsets your judgment a little bit, and you have to know how you respond to it. It's very inconsistent, but all things being equal, I think it's good. It also does help with symptoms of depression. There's a really good study showing that they gave depressed patients coffee, and they their symptoms were far less worse over a prolonged period. It was very fascinating. So I'm typically using 300 to 400 milligrams per day. Typically taking it pre-workout. It's good. Boosts energy, helps you with fat loss, helps you to hit those or helps you to bust those weightlifting plateaus. Also, how long do you sleep per night? Just curious. I'm typically aiming for 7 hours. Usually I'm able to get that done. And if I'm not, then I'm always taking a 12-minute nap. 12 minutes is my number. It works for me. I think 10 is too short, and 15 minutes, it puts you at risk for waking up groggy. So you don't want to wake up groggy. I think I read that in a study one day, 12 minutes. I don't know who they gave it to. It was astronauts or something, but it was the ideal time. You nap too long, especially 20 to 30 minutes, it's too hard to get back to work. And at that point, when you're napping longer than 15 minutes, what that looks like is it's you're kind of doing it more for energy, but not necessarily for productivity and focus. Do what works for you. Did I even answer this question? Yeah, okay. All right, what about Cistanche, Huperzine, and Shilajit? Cistanche, like it a lot. I got a video coming up on it again. It's because so the main benefit intended with Cistanche consumption is to boost testosterone levels and boost libido, help you with strength, potentially help you with achieve greater fat loss. Did it do that? No. But what it did do is it really helped me with focus. And I noticed that I underthink. I overthink less. That's been my experience with Cistanche. So I'm taking it once in the morning. I take it in the powder form. It's this orangey purple kind of color. So it doesn't matter if you're taking the capsule form or the powder form, but I think it's pretty affordable. So I see myself continuing the use of Cistanche anyway. Huperzine, I think it's overrated. Huperzine got a lot of attention when people started taking nootropics 10, 15 years ago, and especially you could read about it on the internet. But now there are much more stronger things even alpha GPC or a form of choline is going to be far stronger than Huperzine. I don't know why people would take it, but maybe there's some good research that dates back to the 70s about it. And Shilajit, people use for different reasons. Some people actually use it to boost their testosterone levels, and some people use it to reduce their levels of stress. So for me, I'm not continuously taking it because in the capsule form, I didn't get the same benefit or feel it the same as the actual dropper in the liquid form. So that's the way to go if I were to take it. I got it by a form but from a brand called Cultivate Elevate. Nootropics depot form wasn't that great, didn't do much for me. But that one was good. It was in the dropper. So did it boost testosterone levels? Probably not. Did it maybe help with stress to some extent? Nothing too strong, but there's so many supplements out there that are marketed to help you with stress. It's very hard to even decide. I think everything is going to help marginally. So there's no bad answers, but the most effective ones are going to be some of the ones that I spoke about earlier, being Rhodiola Rosea, Bacopa Mineri, Ashwagandha, maybe lion's mane, depending on how it makes you feel. Best nootropic for sleep. This is a tough one. I mean, people are very challenged with this and getting nootropics or supplements to sleep. Melatonin is going to be the strongest when it comes to actually getting you to sleep, when it comes to you waking up on time, waking up feeling rejuvenated. But what so is it comes at a risk. First of all, it's not healthy to take because you don't want to do anything with your natural melatonin production. So for me, some of the ones that I like taking are ZMA is okay. Shodan, that's the form of ashwagandha, which does have some good research showing that if you take 120 milligrams right before bed, it will help you to get to sleep faster. It will help you stay asleep, and it will help you to wake up feeling more restored. And what else? I take Tribulus before bed. Not sure how effective it is. Some other popular ones are valerian root and lemon balm. But don't be surprised if they don't do too much for you. What's the max dose for NAC? NAC, okay, this is a very interesting supplement because I've yet to put my finger on exactly what it does. But one thing we know about NAC, if you're somebody that has OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, then NAC looks like the go-to supplement. There's nothing that compares. So what is OCD? It's you have this, you keep on repeating these same unusual patterns. Things like washing your hands a bunch of times or going to the stove and keep on turning it off, even though you know that it's off. It's like you have you have different thinking, let's say. So NAC, in theory, through the mechanism of action in which it does something with your GABA transmitter, it actually can make it such that you less likely experience those OCD-like symptoms. Here's the problem. The doses for that are like 2,400 to 3,000 milligrams per day. That's the study. There's a study on this, NAC for OCD, and that's how much they were taking, 2,400 milligrams to 3,000 milligrams. But you look at a typical capsule of NAC, it's going to be 500 milligrams. So that's going to be very expensive. So what is the max dose? Based on that study, showed that they were taking 3 grams and they were okay. And they also didn't experience any negative side effects. So I think you can, I mean, it's a pretty light supplement. I haven't ever felt any side effects from NAC, but at the same time, I mean, I didn't feel it doing anything. So it's an interesting supplement. Maybe I got a slight boost of focus with it, but guys, what's been your experience with that one? I'm not sure. And by the way, he's talking about N-acetyl L-cysteine, long name, N-acetyl L-cysteine. Yeah, Xenofan, don't worry, I got you. Subroxy may help you with a little bit of a boost of focus. It's not stimulating, but I like anything which is not going to like physically energize you and also going to help you with focus. And that's what Subroxy could do. Just the only issue is you're going to have to take a lot of it. Like for me, I was having to take like 400 to 500 milligrams of Subroxy for me to notice any sort of benefit. 100 milligrams didn't cut it for me anyway. And we're going back on that. We already talked about NALT at the beginning. What about it? Don't know anything about it? You're welcome to share more information. All right, what about Phenylpiracetam and Noopept? I actually took some Phenylpiracetam today. I took 100 milligrams right under the tongue. So Phenylpiracetam is more energizing. Kind of feels like modafinil in some ways in that it boosts alertness throughout the course of the day. You only need to take it once. And it's not like the other Racetams. So you want to just completely forget the name. Name it something else like energy booster, because I don't want people thinking it's Piracetam and thinking it's okay to take every day. It is absolutely not. What it is it's a stimulant. It's physically energizing as well as mentally energizing. You will feel refreshed as you're going about your work. You kind of feel like Superman sometimes, because at the end of the day, typically you should be tired, you should be fatigued, but you have too much energy to do it. And that's a problem too, because it does keep you up at night. Even if it doesn't keep you up at night and you're able to get to sleep, you're not experiencing that same restful sleep that you should. The good thing with Phenylpiracetam, you want a nootropic supplement that's going to help you bust like PRs. It will make you, or it's been my experience, it makes me stronger. It also makes me want to just randomly go for a run. So you got too much energy. Like I took 100 milligrams of Phenylpiracetam today, and I've been pacing around my house while being on the phone. And it's like, you got this energy, but if you don't have it, if you don't have something to focus on, like whether that's a list of tasks or your to-do list, then the problem is with Phenylpiracetam, like your judgment is so off that you won't know what you're doing. And you'll be tempted to do multiple things at once. Noopept, doesn't feel like that at all. With Noopept, you can expect to get a boost of motivation, a little bit more clear thinking, really focus, productivity, word recall, stuff like that. But it's pretty short lasting with Noopept. I think most people do take it and expect it to work for 2 to 3 hours. The common serving sizes with Noopept are anywhere between like 10 milligrams to 30 milligrams. A lot of people take that one as well under the tongue as they notice sublingually. That's what it's called. They notice better results from it. And I've made a lot of, I think like going back and looking at some of the months where I saw the best results in my business, I was taking a lot of Noopept. So I really believe like objectively, if you're tracking your numbers, whether you're in commission sales, you're looking at your grades, like Noopept, it makes you very focused and will make you neglect social life, sports, whatever else that may be distracting you from whatever goal you have, which is getting from point A to point B. I love ambitious people because they're very hard to find these days. I don't know. Maybe it's just my circle. Maybe I'm gonna move. Could you stack ashwagandha with yohimbine and HCl to reduce the side effects of increased anxiety? I love the question because in theory, yes. Will it help? Probably just slightly. I didn't notice much when like I've tried doing that, and you can also consider trying that with caffeine as well. But the anxiety you experience from yohimbine, and this is the same thing with modafinil. Modafinil, whether you like it or not, it does increase anxiety, and for me as well. But ashwagandha, it's a negligible difference because yohimbine and stimulants, they're just so strong. The thing is, they don't last that long. Like yohimbine probably lasts you like 4 to 5 hours. For me anyway, yohimbine lasts longer than the caffeine, but it doesn't give me the same amount of energy and intensity. Yohimbine is more like just like alertness, and it really keeps me up at night. So that's something you got to be careful about. Yohimbine, for those of you that don't know, it's actually a very interesting and unique supplement because people use it to hit and burn that stubborn body fat. So once you've lost some weight and you're trying to get to that level of definition where you have shoulder separation and you have like 4-pack or 6-pack abs, that's when you use a supplement like yohimbine. So I've talked about it in detail on my channel, and I yeah, I unbiasedly feel it's the best yohimbine video on YouTube. Weaker form of DMAA. Okay, cool. Could we get your questions in a question format? Okay, cool. Interesting. I'm gonna look it up. Cool. Yeah, we already addressed that. All right, so you're saying that bipolar people, man, why are you trying to, you can't put me in a box like this because YouTube has rules. So I have to answer questions in my own way. So you can go back and look at it and make and draw whatever conclusions. But yeah, Piracetam and alpha GPC are a good stack. What do you think about lion's mane tincture versus pill or powder? I don't think it makes any difference. I don't know if I've tried it in a tincture form. Maybe it'll be more effective, but there was no difference taking the pill or the powder. I actually do take in the powder form. You'll also find it in coffees as well. Good question, but no difference. NAC or Bacopa? For me, it's going to be Bacopa. Now, there are some people, whether it's OCD, maybe they want to feel a little bit better, a bit more positive. They really like NAC. It's like a it's like a high-powered antioxidant. Antioxidants we also get in food, we also get in other supplements. So there's a small chance that you would feel like a big difference from NAC. Whereas with Bacopa, the majority of people will feel a little bit better, a little bit happier throughout the course of the day, having a little bit more memory, maybe being a little bit more sharper. I'm taking 400 milligrams of Tonkat, all right, and 600 milligrams of Fedoja. Wow, we actually went 36 minutes without a testosterone question. I like that. Guys, if you want to learn about testosterone, go that way. We're talking about nootropics here. I'm taking 400 milligrams of Tonkat and 600 milligrams of Fedoja. I haven't seen much strength gains as using ashwagandha thoughts. Libido and drive is definitely higher with Tonkat and Fedoja. Interesting. Okay, yeah, I didn't notice strength gains really with them either. I noticed like I noticed somewhat of a benefit with Tonkat Ali when I first started taking it, but Fedoja agrestis, I just released a video on that last week. And long story short, I'm not going to continue taking it. I think it's kind of overhyped. I think that some individuals are noticing good benefits from it, but it's a small percentage of people, and I don't think that like several years from now, a lot of people are going to be taking it because of the potential side effects being toxicity. Now, the problem with Fedoja agrestis is like, nobody has really determined what the sweet spot is as far as how much you want to take per day. People are often taking too much of it, and then they don't notice it working. I like the fact that with Fedoja, a lot of people are taking it like 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, repeating like that. So yeah, it's not unusual what you're feeling. There are some people that notice strength gains surprisingly with ashwagandha. I'm not one of them, but then stick to that. Nothing wrong with you throwing out the Fedoja agrestis because that's what I'm doing. And Tonkat Ali, I'm just getting marginal benefits from it at this point. I don't see anywhere close of the benefit that I did when I first started taking it, I think a couple years ago now. I think Subroxy change. Okay, cool. Wow. Not tried that one. We already addressed Agmatine Sulfate. What would you suggest for caffeine besides anxiety, besides L-theanine? Alpha GPC, if you haven't had choline throughout the whole day and you're using some caffeine, then I would consider Alpha GPC and also Bacopa. Some people do also introduce ashwagandha. So there's good like ashwagandha coffees out there, surprisingly. The lion's mane coffees, I've tried those too, or mushroom coffees. I didn't notice much. Yeah, it's kind of tricky. But with caffeine, I always prefer smaller doses because bigger doses come with that crash. And the crash is often when we feel that anxiety, when we feel a lot of that brain fog. And don't forget to hydrate. Best nootropic strictly for strength and muscle gains that you have seen. I'm young, healthy. I just want an extra edge. That's going to be whey protein and creatine. It's not going to necessarily be a nootropic supplement. Maybe you'll notice good results taking glucosamine because it helps with joint health. So I take glucosamine, and I've just noticed that thanks to having stronger joints, I'm able to lift more. Otherwise, Tribulus is good because I think it helps with aggression. Tonkat Ali, some people have seen good results with. I noticed really good results with like pushing motions and busting some PRs when I first started taking Tonkat Ali. But if you're not taking creatine, I think that one's going to make a big difference for you. Take 5 grams, put it in boiling water because then when you stir it, it just stirs and it will actually get into the water versus sink directly to the bottom of the cup. And yeah, and you'll be good. Get the Cray Pure straight from Germany. Does Noopept help in the gym? Maybe a little bit with focus and willpower concentration. People used to think no regarding this. Now we're starting to actually see Noopept being introduced in some pre-workout products. So it's one of the things. It depends kind of like how's your mindset. If you eat before you work out, then likely you should have good focus. You should have good drive. But when you're working out, like concentration is everything. And so if you're being social with people, that's Noopept is not going to fix that. Glutathione. No comment. Haven't glutathione. Is there a question? I hear tincture is way stronger. With some nootropics, it's been my experience, like Noopept, C-Max. I typically did take it in the tinctures. What's up? What's up? Cool. Good to see you here, Tanya. And raw Brazil nuts. I take them every day. Take probably like 3 to 4. And what that does is it should, in theory, help to boost testosterone levels. It has selenium. Selenium is pretty hard to find in your diet. So high levels of selenium often can result in higher levels of testosterone. So it could be a good thing. Have you taken, no, I haven't taken this one. Oh my gosh, there's a few new ones I gotta look at, like this one, but I never heard anyone ask about that before. Okay, great. I'm getting good sleep. I have enough energy. I'm not motivated. I'm not motivated at all. I want to do things. I'm just not tired and can't get into moving. Some of the ones that we discussed earlier were Noopept, being pretty short lasting, but does help with discipline, does help with drive, motivation, getting work done. Piracetam, that one's also very good. With L-tyrosine, that one's pretty popular. It boosts dopamine, and it doesn't last. I mean, it doesn't last the whole day though. It lasts about 90 minutes. So hope that's helpful. You're on a deserted. Oh my gosh, we're getting a bit of variety with these questions. You're on a deserted island. What 3 nootropics are you bringing? I'd bring caffeine because it would give me the energy to do whatever I could to find a way out of the island. I'll use lion's mane because it will help me with creativity, and I'll use alpha GPC just to help me with overall levels of cognition. Hope that was helpful. And I want to know about yours. What are yours? Does ashwagandha raise serotonin as much as L-tryptophan do? No, it actually doesn't. L-tryptophan is like the way to go, and 5-HTP is another popular supplement that people use to boost their serotonin levels. But you don't want to have too much serotonin because then you're setting yourself up for serotonin syndrome. That's a pretty scary thing. And 5-HTP, it will directly boost serotonin. And what you'll notice after that happens is any carbohydrate cravings you have may be gone, and you're just like, you're in a better mood. It's weird. It's so artificial, 5-HTP. It actually bothers me that people take it because it's like something bad can happen during the day and you can put a bandage over it and take some 5-HTP because you're gonna magically be in a good mood. But it's like it's preventing you from building that mental resilience to be a stronger person, to learn about things like meditation, good books, connecting with good people. So for that reason, yeah, I'm not a fan of 5-HTP, or I don't even think it's a good idea for you to take any supplements to directly boost your serotonin levels. I think you're going to be better off having good healthy practices first, of course. Sunlight, gym, vitamin D, eating well. What are your thoughts on glutathione? I'm going to actually look this one up because I don't even remember too much about it. But okay, yeah. It's made from glycine. So not effective. I did go 90 days actually taking it. Didn't notice much. I actually expected that it would help me with my sleep quality and energy production. It's kind of one of those things like magnesium. There's different forms of it. Do you take magnesium? Some people do. They notice a benefit. Some people, they've tried it. They didn't notice as much of a benefit, right? Ever tried ND's Vignatex? No, I actually haven't. Have you looked into the GABA regulation of Cistanche? Nope, I have not. But Cistanche, I would see it more like a nootropic than a supplement that would boost testosterone, even though that's kind of like the intention. How do you take care of your liver and kidneys while using nootropics daily? If you have any concerns about this, you may want to look into the supplement called milk thistle. So milk thistle is a supplement people will specifically take to take better care of their liver and kidneys. But I feel healthy. My blood tests all come out well. I get my blood checked every 4 to 6 months because I've had a thyroid issue in the past, and now I'm on meds to better regulate my thyroid levels, make sure that I don't have hypothyroidism. And I feel good. Drink a lot of water and eat good food. And most of these nootropics that I'm taking are they're safer than most people think. And guys, keep in mind, I'm saying this after a lot of years of experience. It's not like things have gotten progressively worse as I've been taking them. It's like things are just getting better, and I'm noticing, or because I'm noticing what's working and what's not, I feel sharp. I can't complain. So I think nootropics are a good thing. I'd bring caffeine, lion's mane, and Adderall. Oh, I don't know if Adderall counted. He's talking about what nootropics he would bring to a deserted island. I feel like mushroom family helps my mood, not energizing to me though. And that could actually be the issue. So if perhaps you're somebody that is struggling with demotivation, you're taking a lot of mushroom supplements, you may want to consider just eliminating the mushrooms, because mushrooms, they may help you with stress, but most nootropics out there that are going to help you to lower your levels of stress may also bring about with them some demotivation, or just make you not want to do everything. So what use is it being in a good mood if you're not going to do anything, right? And that's kind of similar to ashwagandha. Oh, is that the question? Oh my gosh. Tanya, we can't have comments like this. I'm putting you on a timeout. Cool. All right, what is your recommendation? Okay, I take probably more vitamin D than I need to. So I'm taking like 2,000 to 3,000 milligrams. I think that's the dosage, but sometimes even more. I'm using more depending on what I'm trying to do. Like now I'm going to go through a 2-week cutting diet just to lose some body fat and get my six-pack back. So I'm going to take some more vitamin D because vitamin D and sunlight is actually associated with achieving better fat loss. So that's pretty cool. What do your friends and family think of your nootropic use? No, they're supportive. They kind of like ask me, what should I take? That happens all the time. And very often I'll give them a couple things or I'll tell them what to take and they notice magical results. And now like most of them are watching some of my videos trying to learn a couple things. But what's challenging is like when people ask me what should they be taking, because a lot of people do that. Michael, what would you recommend that I take? See, I don't know much about them. A lot of people are on meds, so I don't want to, of course, get them in any trouble or have them have any negative interactions. So it's good to know some of the like basic nootropics that we talk about on this channel, like some of the ones we mentioned earlier, Rhodiola Rosea, Bacopa, Piracetam. But with every nootropic that you recommend people, I think it's important that you also mention the potential downsides, because it's like, I wouldn't give ashwagandha to everyone because with ashwagandha, you also get the side effect of being demotivated. And that's happened to like a lot of salespeople. They use ashwagandha, they feel good, sales drop, like go figure. How many unused nootropics or supplements do you have laying around? I have a whole room, actually. I have a room full of boxes and things that were sent to me. Very often, I would actually tell companies like, don't bother sending me your product because I'm not going to review it. There's no search volume on the actual product. If your product has, I mean, if people want me to review your product, I will review your product, but they still want to send it. So I get a lot of stuff sent to me. And guys, if you're watching this and you're thinking of sending me something out, I appreciate you, but let's have a conversation first because I don't want it ending up in my room. But a lot of them, I actually have to, I should be going out and trying some of them. I train at night. What are the best supplements for energy? L-tyrosine, beta-alanine, those should be good. Citrulline malate. What else? Creatine. And then everything else you're going to, yeah, I think most of the other popular nootropic supplements for pre-workout use may be keeping you up. So beta-alanine, I would stick to a dosage of like 4 to 6 grams. Citrulline malate, 6 grams is going to be good. L-tyrosine, I would take 1 gram of it. Maybe you can consider taking some alpha GPC just to help you boost your focus. Like 300 milligrams could be good. And caffeine, if you can tolerate it. Most people, they wouldn't want to touch caffeine within like 6 hours of sleeping. What if you microdose uridine for a year? I don't think there should be any problem, but because I've heard many people. Cool. I mean, uridine I haven't noticed much from, but cover that in a video. So which nootropics will you use for your 2-week cut? Anything to help your metabolism for fat loss? No, I don't really expect that many nootropics will really help with that with metabolic rate. What I will stick to is the 400 milligrams a day of caffeine consumption. Green tea extract, I like that a lot because it does blunt appetite to some extent. I also noticed like a slight benefit with fat loss, but I've tried a lot of popular supplements for fat loss, like cayenne pepper is very popular. 5-HTP, that one's good for cravings. Really, they don't do too much. It's more about like what can you take or what can you eat that's going to suppress your appetite, or at least that's my challenge anyway, because I used to be like 20 to 30 pounds overweight, then I dropped weight. So appetite has always been a bit of a challenge for me. So for me, what that looks like is water-rich foods, eat them, keeps me full, and actually drinking green tea. Like green tea is my best friend. I take it, I mean, I drink 1 or 2 cups every single day, and that really helps me to blunt my appetite. And now I'm introducing some more cardio, nothing crazy, just 300 calories burned twice a week. So 2 different cardio sessions, I'm burning 300 calories. And then I have 1 10-minute high intensity interval training session along with training weights 4 times a week. Let's go. Sounds intense. It's not that bad. Plus, I think for people that are in entrepreneurship, like working out is definitely a requirement. Yeah, speaking of the question earlier, you want to get motivated. Just motivate yourself to go to the gym. And then after that, everything's easy. Cool. Tried any products? I have not. Alpha GPC dosage for daytime office grind. If you can tolerate it, I think more is okay. 200 milligrams 3 times a day, that's 600 milligrams total. You can consider going a bit higher, up to 900 milligrams a day. It really just depends on how you're feeling. Some people feel worse with it. So with alpha GPC, there's like a sweet spot. You just got to find it. But a lot of people don't react well to alpha GPC. So fortunately, you'll be able to determine that within the first week of use. I'm fortunate I can get away with taking a lot more alpha GPC than other people, and you feel sharper. And also there's research showing that alpha GPC boosts motivation levels, not just in the morning, not in the afternoon, but also in the evening. Pretty damn interesting. Have ever thought? I have not. Cool. I have discovered small amounts of phenylbutyrate HCl daily. Okay, cool. No, I mean, I think it's fine if you're using 300 to 600 milligrams. I don't know if you're using it every single day. I'd be concerned, because then you won't remember who you actually are at your core, because phenylbutyrate is messing with everything. I don't use phenylbutyrate often. I'll use it once a month. You guys have actually tempted me to try some again, so maybe I'll do that. But not that I don't look at it as a good supplement to help you with productivity or something that's safe to be taking every single day. Cool. Yeah. I also take L-tyrosine, lion's mane, L-theanine, and 5-HTP. How long does the demotivational feeling? How long does it take for the demotivating feeling to leave after ashwagandha consumption? That's going to depend on you. For me, like, I'm taking in the evening, and I assume that the next day it's pretty much gone, or that's how I think it is. But I think with if you really are cautious about that and you want to get that phenomenon like all out of your system and be motivated, I would just go 7 days without ashwagandha, see how you feel. But probably after like 2 or 3 days, you should be feeling like your normal self. Probably even like 2 days, you should be good. So that one, I'm still trying to find like the right dosage and how it's going to be responsible for me feeling. So I've never taken ashwagandha first thing in the morning. It's always been afternoon and evening. Then I adjusted it to evening, or evening and right before bed. But now, following this practice that I've been using, which is like once in the late afternoon and then again just right before I sleep to help me with my sleep quality, I haven't found it to demotivate me. If anything, I feel a bit more motivated because I experience less stress. And guys, I hope you found this live stream helpful. I'll get timestamps here. The best way you can support me is by getting some of the products using the referral links below. I get a small cut. You get a discount. Everybody wins. I appreciate you guys, and connect with me on Instagram. If you want me to post more stories, just let me know. I'm pretty easygoing with that stuff, and I'm not as busy as you guys think. If you want to ever have a conversation, just reach out on Instagram or Patreon, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks again for all the